Welcome back. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Markets are a little up and down today, opened with a little bit of a pop and have sold off as we go into the afternoon here. So let's take a look at what's going on in the traditional markets first, and we'll get into Bitcoin and crypto. And stocks, the Dow Jones are kind of flat right now. S&P is down almost 1%, 0.75%. NASDAQ's down 1.72%. So yesterday, tech stocks rallied 2%. Today, they're down almost 2%. So choppy waters out there, all because of the inflationary environment. We had earnings reporting today. And of course, the banks were among some of the best earners on their trading desks. The banks are obviously cashing in on trading, whereas like Wells Fargo did not meet projected earnings because of their mortgage division. But basically Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, all of the Citibank, all the banks that have trading desks are doing extremely well right now because of the volatility in the markets. Traders love volatility, and that's where the big dollars are made, especially in declining markets. Very difficult to navigate, but a lot of opportunity there as well. Of course, a couple of big stories. Inflation is still in the big picture, and the Fed, with inflation on a tear like it is going to have to act and act fast. Everybody is experiencing the inflationary costs. Amazon's going to have to add a 5% fuel and inflation charge. Restaurants around the country are adding an inflation charge as well to the bill because just things are just getting so expensive. And I know a lot of restaurants are just pricing their menu basically daily because, you know, food is a commodity and commodity prices are all over the board right now. Of course, we have Elon Musk bidding for Twitter. So that'll be interesting to see. I know the bid's already been rejected. Is he going to go for a hostile takeover or will he just start his own version? Seems to me he's better off starting his own Twitter versus buying this one. I don't think it'll be very difficult for him to build the same user base that Twitter has right now. Given his popularity and the amount of money that he has, 43 billion, do you think you could build a competitive Twitter if you were Elon Musk for $43 billion or less? I think you probably could do it. So it'd be interesting to see how that shakes out. And of course, in the other news that's kind of interesting is Jack Dorsey, speaking of Twitter, first NFT that was sold for $2.9 million. The guy that bought it cannot sell it for any more. I think the highest bid was like $700 or $800 today. So a lot of conversation around NFTs right now, given the situation with this one is, you know, like I said, it was Jack Dorsey's first tweet that was turned into an NFT that somebody paid $2.9 million for, tried to sell it recently, put the price at $48 million, and the highest bid was like $800. So is that going to be the fate of all NFTs? We will soon find out because a lot of people are putting their NFTs up for sale given the economic environment we're in and the uncertainty out there. So it'll be interesting to see how a lot of these NFTs hold up as we go through time because they're very different. You know, Jack Dorsey's Twitter NFT is very different than, you know, a Bored Ape or some of these other cyberpunks or a Beeple or things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. This is Bitcoin on the hourly that we're looking at right here. And we've had this little downhill march for the last few days. And what I was originally targeting was a 20% drop in Bitcoin a couple of weeks ago. I made that video and almost there. It's down about 19%. So will it hit that 20% that I was looking for back here on March 28th, 29th, somewhere during that time period? I made a video projecting that that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies would drop about 20% from there, and that the stock market could see as much as a 10% downward drop. And I know NASDAQ's been kind of all over the place, but let's see what that's done so far. About 8%, so I'm close there. And Dow Jones, let's see what the Dow has done in that time frame. Dow's done a little bit better. It's only down about 2%. Well, wait a minute, am I in the right time frame? Yeah, it was about there. So Dow has done much better. The S&P, and of course, you know, those are your defensive plays that are doing well right now. The S&P is down 5%. So the NASDAQ is the biggest loser right now. And as we know, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and tech stocks are all kind of joined at the hip. basically following each other, where the defensive plays are now in the Dow and the S&P have more defensive stocks, whereas NASDAQ is obviously the growth stocks, and that's what's down right now. So we'll just have to see how the markets progress as we move forward. Let's take a look at Bitcoin again. This is Bitcoin on the hourly. If you look at the 4-hour, the downtrend is obviously a little bit more visible in this recent range that we've been in here. The question is, are we going to see a bounce right here? Because in these downtrends, we're approaching the bottom of this hourly base of support where prices bounced twice for Bitcoin in that $39,000 range. So the question is it going to bounce again? So it was 39.2, 39, basically 39.2, 39.3 is where it bounced before. We'll just have to see if it bounces there again. And Ethereum, Avalanche, all your large cap stocks, or all altcoins, large cap altcoins, are all kind of following the same price pattern and looking to see if they revisit this recent low and bounce again, or if they're going to continue for more downside. So that's kind of what I'm watching before I make any new trades. And of course, the altcoin of the day is Proppy. I've been talking about Proppy and showing you that one. And I think the low on Proppy over here the other day was $1.26. And that was a great entry, somewhere around $1.30, $1.26. And this one popped basically 216%. And, I didn't catch all that. I went ahead and got in down here, but I got out right here at $2. I did not ride it all the way up. Didn't think it was going to make it. It reversed as soon as it hit 2, but then it kept going. So talk about market manipulation. This was a good one here. So that would have been a fun one to ride out, but I did okay. I think that was a 30% move. That was about a 50% move overall, from $1.30 to $2. So that was a nice little trade setup right there, but then it just went on all the way up to $3.95. And of course, when the recent high on Proppy was in the $4.82 range. So I think a lot of people thought this thing was going to the moon. Then it turned around and reversed. So that was an interesting one to watch. When it hit $1.20, $5.26, I had to take a little bit of that trade. Could not resist that one. I've been playing with the Proppy for a while, kind of getting in and getting out. So interesting stuff going on. There's a couple of other altcoins that have popped off here lately, but nothing, like a major alt season where everything is going at once, but a lot of these are just popping and then immediately dropping. So a lot of manipulation out there, and you can spot, some of these have consistent accumulation patterns. If you look at them on the daily, a little bit different to look at in terms of how some of these coins are popping that recently went off. They're just easy coins to manipulate apparently. But Proppy is a very different one because it's new on Coinbase, and that's the price action I'm tracking here is when it got released on Coinbase, but it has more history on Binance that you can go back and look at the daily. But when you look at the daily of Bitcoin, go back and take a look at that. And again, what we've been tracking are the major moving averages, which right now, price got right back up to that 100-day and rejected. So price has not been able to get back over that 100-day moving average, still well below the 200 and below the 50 as well. So that would have been a good test for continuation to the upside, would be getting back over that 100-day and then continuing on to retest that 200-day moving average again. If we look at it on the weekly, you have this weekly 50, 100 death cross that is impending. And if that happens, every time that's happened, there's been a big drop in the price of Bitcoin whenever those two moving averages. Generally, it's lagging. Obviously, all moving averages are lagging indicators, but generally, this is heading towards that lower 200-week moving average. This is Bitcoin on the weekly here. Whenever this cross happens and price breaks below down the 100, then it goes down and checks the 200-day moving average pretty much every time in Bitcoin's history that this 50 has crossed over the 100. Price has gone down to test the 200-week moving average. That's generally been the best time in Bitcoin's history, several times to buy, other than the early days, obviously. But once these moving averages are actually able to track, those have been the 3 times in Bitcoin's history when you had excellent buying opportunity. So Will Bitcoin break below the 100-week moving average and go down to test the 200? We will have to wait and see. And I don't think that's going to happen for, it looks like if you kind of track this price action here, this has been basically 91, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 91 days. So basically, if you look at this time period here and extrapolate that out from here, because it's probably going to take about another 90 days or so, that puts you in, well, somewhere around June, July timeframe, and where this cross could potentially happen, maybe in May. And then if it breaks through that 100-week moving average, it could go down and test the 200. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then you have the Gaussian channel that we've been looking at, and price is well below the midline of the Gaussian channel on the weekly now. And whenever price has lost that Gaussian channel, it has always gone down to check the lower level and then obviously break below that. But it has been kind of rebounding in here recently. So we'll just have to wait and see if price can break out of that. If you look at it on the daily, same thing. When price loses that midline and goes down and breaks the bottom line, it could get down well below the bottom line of that Gaussian channel. So those are the things that I'm looking at on Bitcoin and crypto. And let's go back on the daily here and take a look at some of these charts. And a lot of them are on major support right here. Of course, we've been tracking this trend line here, and price has held up on this trend line. I know some people are using the wicks, but this daily close trend line that I've been tracking has been holding as support pretty well so far. So we'll have to see if that continues to be the case. And right now, price is still supported on that trend line. So if this breaks, then that's when you can look for some more continuation to the downside. So on the daily, this trend line that we've been following in the last few videos has been holding up as support. Price has been kind of bouncing along. And the question is, will it continue to do that? Is this just a big bear flag? Or is this a channel, a rising channel that price is just going to continue in and not break out of? And that's a big range. Right now it's about a, let's see, it's probably about a, 20%, 25% range that price has been trading in here. So that's a nice little trading range. Not a lot of incentive for price to break out of that, because you can make more money getting in and out of here than you can just going back to 60,000. So it'll be interesting to see if this continues to hold. So that's what you're watching right now. Is currently that level is about 39.5. So price needs to really stay above 39.5 to continue to bounce along this trend line and continue on. And how long can it do that? They can do it for quite a while. And then ultimately, see if we get continuation from there, or if it breaks that line and breaks down. So that's what I am looking at right now. And I hope this helps you. I will see you on the next video.